Chapter 1. The Stranger by the Water. The lake glimmered under the twilight, its surface unnaturally still. Locals called it Whisper Lake, a name born from eerie tales of voices heard on quiet nights. For Alina, it had always been a place of escape, a mirror for her own unspoken fears. On this evening, she sat on the weathered dock, absently tossing pebbles into the water. The ripples spread across the surface, each wave carrying whispers too faint to make out. Still searching for answers? A voice broke her thoughts. Startled, Alina turned to find a young man standing at the edge of the dock. He was unfamiliar, dark hair falling into sharp eyes, his demeanor as enigmatic as the lake itself. "I wasn't searching," Alina replied cautiously. "Who are you?" "Call me Elias," he said, stepping closer. "I've been hearing the whispers, too." Her heart skipped. Few outsiders knew of the lake's legend, and even fewer dared to acknowledge it aloud. "You're not from here," she said, trying to read his intent. "No, but I came because of the lake." Alina frowned. "Why would you do that?" Elias smiled faintly, a shadow crossing his expression. "Let's just say I'm looking for answers, too." The lake's surface shimmered again, and a soft hum rose, too rhythmic to be natural. Alina stiffened. "We should go," she said, standing. "The lake can be strange at night." Elias didn't move. Instead, he crouched and touched the water's edge. "Do you know what the whispers are saying?" "No one knows," Alina said, stepping back. "Some say it's the lake calling for help. Others say it's a warning." Elias stood, his gaze locked on the horizon. "I think they're asking for us to listen." Before Alina could reply, the hum grew louder, a vibration in the air. The whispers weren't faint anymore. They were words, disjointed but deliberate. "Find us beneath." Alina grabbed Elias's arm. "We need to leave now." But Elias didn't budge. "What's beneath the lake, Alina?" he asked, his voice calm yet intense. "I don't know," she admitted, pulling him toward the shore. "And I don't want to find out." As they retreated, the whispers faded, leaving an uneasy silence. Elias glanced at her as they reached the path leading back to the village. "If you don't want answers, why do you keep coming here?" Alina hesitated but didn't respond. She couldn't tell him that the lake had once taken something precious from her, and that she feared it was now trying to give it back. Chapter 2 echoes in the fog. The next morning, the village was cloaked in a heavy fog, muting every sound. Alina sat on her porch, her hands wrapped around a steaming cup of tea. Her thoughts kept circling back to Elias and the whispers that seemed louder than ever. Maeve arrived shortly after sunrise, her boots crunching on the gravel path. "You've been quiet all morning," she said, setting a basket of fresh bread on the table. "Is it about the stranger?" Alina nodded. "He's not like the others, Maeve. He knows things about the lake, things no outsider should." Before Maeve could respond, a shadow moved at the edge of the yard. It was Elias, his tall frame barely visible through the mist. He approached slowly, his hands in his pockets. "I didn't mean to eavesdrop," he said, stopping a few feet away. "But I think you're right. I do know things." Maeve frowned. "You shouldn't be here. The villagers don't like strangers meddling with the lake." Elias's expression didn't waver. "I'm not here to meddle. I'm here to find answers, but I can't do it alone." Alina set her cup down. "Why us?" "What do you think we can do?" Elias hesitated, his gaze shifting toward the fog-shrouded lake. "You've been drawn to the whispers your whole life, haven't you?" "I think the lake has been waiting for you." The words hung in the air like a challenge. Maeve shook her head. "This is madness." "Alina, you know what the lake has done, what it's taken." Alina clenched her fists, the memories of Finn's disappearance flooding back. "I haven't forgotten," she said quietly. "But maybe he's right. Maybe it's time to stop running and face it." Elias's eyes softened. I don't know what you've lost, but I promise you, the lake wants us to understand. We just have to listen. Maeve stepped back, her voice sharp. Listening got people killed. If you go, you'll be next. Alina met her gaze, determination hardening her features. If there's even a chance to find out why it happened, I have to take it. Without another word, she turned and walked toward the lake. Elias followed, leaving Maeve standing alone in the thickening mist. As they reached the shoreline, the whispers grew louder, forming fragmented words. Alina felt a chill run through her. Do you hear it? Elias asked. Yes, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. It's calling us. The lake's surface rippled unnaturally, the whispers blending into a haunting melody. Alina took a step closer, her reflection warping in the water. What now? She asked, her voice trembling. Elias crouched by the water, his fingers grazing the surface. We wait. The whispers rose, echoing through the fog like a summons. For the first time, Alina wondered if they had made a terrible mistake. Chapter 3. Beneath the Surface. The air by the lake grew colder, the fog so dense it blurred the line between land and water. Alina stood motionless, her heart pounding as the whispers twisted into a faint hum, rhythmic and unsettling. Elias seemed unfazed, his gaze fixed on the rippling surface. Do you trust me? He asked suddenly, his voice cutting through the eerie quiet. Alina hesitated. I don't even know you. Elias gave a half smile, his eyes shadowed. Fair enough. But if we're going to do this, we need to take a leap of faith. Together. Do what? Alina's voice wavered. Elias stepped closer to the water, the whispers intensifying as if encouraging his every move. He knelt, cupping a handful of the icy liquid. The answers are below. The lake's been trying to show us, but we need to meet it halfway. Maeve's warnings echoed in Alina's mind. People who challenged the lake's secrets never came back. She should turn away now, return to the safety of the village. But she didn't. Instead, she knelt beside Elias. What do we do? Wait for the signal, Elias murmured. The water suddenly stilled, its surface unnaturally smooth. Then faint golden light began to glow beneath it, pulsating like a heartbeat. Alina gasped. That's it, Elias whispered. That's the signal. Before she could react, Elias plunged his arm into the water. The whispers became a roar, their pitch sharp and deafening. Alina grabbed his shoulder. Stop, she yelled. You don't know what you're doing. But Elias didn't pull back. His face contorted in pain as the glow wrapped around his arm like tendrils. It's pulling me in, he gasped. Without thinking, Alina grabbed his other arm, planting her feet firmly in the sand. The light spread to her hands, cold and burning all at once, her mind filled with images. Flashes of a life she didn't recognize. A boy laughing by the lake, a woman crying beneath a tree, and then darkness. When she opened her eyes, she was standing in a place that defied logic. The lake was gone, replaced by a sprawling expanse of golden mist. Shapes moved within it, shadows of people, their forms flickering like candle flames. Elias stood beside her, his face pale but resolute. We're inside, he said, his voice awed. Inside what? Alina demanded, panic rising in her chest. Elias gestured to the mist. The lake's memories. As the words sank in, one of the shadows approached them. It solidified into a young boy, his features heartbreakingly familiar. Finn, Alina breathed, tears streaming down her face. The boy didn't respond, his eyes empty and distant. He raised a hand, pointing deeper into the mist. What does he want? Elias asked. Alina shook her head, her voice trembling. I think he wants us to follow. The whispers returned, softer now, beckoning them forward. Elias took her hand. "Are you ready?" "No," Alina admitted. But she took the first step anyway. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe Fluent Through Stories, and share this story with your friends. Stay tuned for our next story. See you soon.